everybody? Millennial Republicans here, and today we're going to be looking at a video titled "How Long Are We Going to Keep Arguing About This?" from a guy, a YouTuber known as a left-winger for most people, named Steve.
Yeah, I've seen Steve Shives before. I know who he is. Adnan here has not. He does not know who he is. He hasn't really seen anything about him. So I was like, hey, let's take a look at one of his more recent videos about something stupid.
I have no clue who he is, so this is my first time watching him,
Yeah. So we'll
and
start. Yeah.
we'll go through it, talk about it a little bit, and just you guys can hear our opinions a little bit
Yeah.
on it.
We'll start it. We'll stop at certain points to kind of analyze what he's saying and kind of debunk anything he says, pretty much. And then we'll continue the video and so on and so forth. So let us begin.
All ideas deserve a fair hearing? Sure. But what about ideas who have had their fair hearing and have been widely discredited and rejected? With the recent punching of white supremacist Richard Spencer and protesters shutting down scheduled appearances by racist, misogynist, professional internet troll Milo Yiannopoulos, I've heard many people argue.
Okay, so he's talking about Richard Spencer, who is known as a nationalist. He's known as a white supremacist. He's basically, got Nazi ideals, which, it's not like a great thing. It's not a good thing, but he still has his right to speech, and he definitely didn't deserve to be punched in the face because some left-wingers just came up and punched him in the face for no real reason other than the fact that he was speaking about his ideas. And then he talks shit about Milo after the UC Berkeley riots, which we talked about, how they destroyed everything and pretty much forced him out of UC Berkeley just because they didn't want to listen to him, even though, there were a couple hundred who did want to go and listen to him.
Okay, so I missed it. Did he say that Milo was also a white supremacist, or was he talking about the
No,
other
he,
guy?
he was just, he was talking about Spencer being white supremacist and Milo being like a radical Republican.
Oh, okay, I understand. Well, I mean, there's really not much to say about that. I don't understand what's wrong with Milo's ideals. He follows the exact ideals that any other probably right-wing Republican would want to. Also,
Yeah.
I mean, so every once in a, I mean, honestly, not from what I've heard of, but I mean, I'm sure there's somewhere out there he might have said something pretty fairly controversial. But for the most part, he does treat people with respect. And as a matter of fact, in one of his appearances to a campus, he had mentioned that he, for a really, really long time, was a Democrat. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even like Republicans for the most part because the only reason he actually even went Republican this year was because of Donald Trump. And he had mentioned that in a video. I believe he was talking to an Asian American. I believe he was debating an Asian American about something, and he said that Democrats have treated gays and LGBT people for so bad for so long. That's why he was Republicans have treated LGBT and gays so bad for so long. So he's always been more Democratic, but since Trump came into office, he was so pro Republican because of him, and that's actually the only reason he really went to that.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how you can just call somebody a right winger like that when this is literally the first time that he's really identified himself as one of the right.
Yeah.
It just it's a false narrative. It's terrible. But all right, keep going.
That the likes of Spencer and Yiannopoulos should be allowed to have their say, that their voices ought to be heard, so that if their claims are false or their rhetoric is harmful, we can respond in kind, with the truth, or with better ideas. The people making these arguments are, for the most part, good, well-intentioned people. Many of them are just as disgusted by Yiannopoulos and Spencer as I am. They're motivated by their dedication to free and open discourse, to the principle that no idea should be suppressed. And in principle, that's a fine notion, particularly when we're talking about the role the government plays in regulating speech. Do we want the state stepping in and saying that there are certain things we just can't say, no matter how vile those things might be? No, I don't think most of us would want that. But does that mean that every propagator of every theory and ideology is entitled to a platform and an audience? No.
So what really bugs me about this is, one, he's putting Milo and Spencer in the same category as if like they're arguing same ideals when they're like completely different. Like uh Spencer is like completely nationalistic, and from what he's saying is he's like a Nazi and stuff. Like he believes in like white supremacy and all that. And Milo is a Republican who believes, in Donald Trump's ideals, believes in that stuff, but he still mashes them together. And the fact that he is saying that they do not deserve an audience and they do not deserve a platform to speak on is just completely retarded, because that's taking away their right to speak. Like, these people want to come and listen to them. It's not like, oh, they have the right to an audience. They have the right to this platform. It's not like that. It's they have a right to be heard. These people have a right to go to whatever platform they're speaking on and listen to them. And these people have a right to hold this microphone and speak to them. Like, I don't know why he thinks that, it's two separate ideas.
You know what? This guy is just he's. I mean, I just listened to this guy. It's completely idiotic. I mean, this whole ideology is completely idiotic of his. So basically, what he's saying is he enjoys free speech, which most people do. Okay, makes sense. He enjoys free speech, but he doesn't enjoy it in the hands of some people.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what it comes down to.
He's making
And
it
that
so, as a liberal and as his side, he's always going to win an argument, because he's always the one in the right and always allowed to have this platform and audience that he has, but not a platform and audience that Milo has.
And you know what? And it's not just him. I've seen this trend in many liberals, and it seems like they always like to get their word out, but they can't handle a difference of opinion. And the problem with that is, you know what? When it comes to the First Amendment, you are allowed to say what you want. You are allowed to be heard. You're allowed to voice your reason, everything like that. And when you have people like this, he's following the ideal of the First Amendment, which is allowing people to speak, but only a handful suggested people to speak, and the rest to just shut their mouths and follow like sheep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the problem with this here. All right, this guy, he's obviously completely on such a deer in the headlights notion that what I'm saying is right, what you're saying is wrong. He doesn't want to listen to another opinion because it might, whatever these liberals use these days, trigger him or whatever the hell they, what kind of buzzwords they can figure out. And it's horrible to see because it's such a terrible ideology. I mean, at this point, it's not even with politics. It's just about not hurting somebody else's feelings. It's horrible. It's
Yeah. Like, even at the beginning, he said, like, that, Republican ideas have been disproven, and, whatever the other word could be for it, like, they're just not, like, proper, and that his ideas are right, and that they are, like, proven facts, that they are better than Republican ideas, and that we shouldn't listen to Republican ideas because, for some reason, this left-wing idea is much better. Like,
yeah, it's just
all right.
Of course not. And since when has that ever been the case? We ignore people promoting what we have come to regard as bad ideas all the time. It happens in science, it happens in politics, it happens in our everyday lives. There comes a point where the argument is over, where continued discourse on the matter would be of no use to anyone other than the most stubborn, die-hard supporters of a roundly rejected position. The thing is, it's not just better ideas that defeat bad ideas. My friend Eli Bosnick made this point on Twitter a few days ago. I'm saying he's my friend, but we don't really know each other that well. I like him, I think he likes me, so I'm saying he's my friend. And if Eli has a problem with that, he can come find me and I'll take care of his problem for him. How about that? Actually, no, forget that last bit. Eli and I have only met in person once, and we're about the same size, and I can't fight, like, at all. So if he can handle himself even a little bit, that might go really badly for me.
Like, you see these, like, childish tangents he goes off on because he thinks that they're funny. Like, I don't understand why, when you're having a serious discussion like this and talking about a serious topic like this, especially when you're saying that we should no longer be arguing these ideologies between Republican and Democrat because one has been refuted, even though it is untrue, that he feels the need to enter in with this stupid humor as if it were nothing.
I mean, I can't deal with this guy, honestly. He's just trying to throw in these childish antics into his video because, he thinks it'll spice it up, get him some views, make him look funny, this and that. But this guy, he talks so much facts, disproving this and that. He hasn't even shown a single fact in this entire video.
Yeah, he
I mean,
has
if
no
you're gonna if you're
evidence.
gonna if you're gonna continue talking about facts, back it up, please. I mean, he's just saying, "Oh, these people, all these ideologies are wrong. Oh, this and that, they've been disproven, this and that." But he doesn't show any proof that they've been disproven. He doesn't show any proof that they don't work. He hasn't shown any proof that Republicans are these radical, people that are just a bunch of gun-toting, get all these people that aren't white out of the country, this kind of stuff. It's just this notion. And the problem with it is, even me, for example, I would show identify more as a right, Republican. But the problem is, I also hold some kind of democratic ideals because it's never too good to be too far right or too far left, and we have a lot of examples of the left. But
Yeah,
see, the problem with this is you have to have a little bit of a mix in between, because if you go too far right, too far left, it'll create you as a person that you don't want to be. And this guy, obviously, he's way too far left. He's thrown himself out of proportion, and so many people have thrown themselves into the far left that they won't listen to any other ideologies, and that's when you have this huge mishap and misdirection and all this kind of stuff. To where you should lead the country politically, this and that, where it should go. If Democrats and Republicans could work together, then we would be the country we were, you know, during the 1900s. Obviously, discluding racism and whatnot, all the stuff like that was going on at the time, and prejudice against women and everything like that. Disclosing that, the country would be just so much better when it comes to economically. Political scandals would be thrown out. We'd have strong nationalism, and it's good. We would help people out from other countries, and we can get back on the right track as long as the two parties work together. But they are so against each other. They hate each other so much that you just can't work out. You can't work it out together, and then that just creates this entire problem, and it's
yeah.
terrible.
And people like this only make things worse. The way they speak is if the opposite side is completely wrong and disproven and so on and so forth. It makes a mess of the entire situation, and it doesn't add anything to the discussion of which is right and which is wrong, which ideas of which is right and which ideas of which is wrong. Because I mean, yeah, like he said, like you said, um, like there's a mix of ideas. Like some democratic ideas are not bad. I won't deny that some democratic ideas are pretty good, but there are also some Republican ideas that are really good that need to be kind of mixed together in order to achieve something. Like if you're completely refuting every idea of the other side, as if every idea on say our Republican side is much better than every idea on the Democratic side, then you're wrong. Like that's as simple as there is. There is definitely better ideas on the Democratic side, and there are bad ideas on the Democratic side, and there are bad ideas on the Republican side, and good ideas on the Republican side. You just kind of have to find the mix and blend of which ones are better and which ones are worse. All right.
My casual acquaintance Eli Bosnick made this point on Twitter a few days ago. Refuting bad ideas with good ideas is important, but so is removing bad ideas from the discourse. And when we refuse to do that, when we continue to engage with people pushing arguments that have already been refuted, we treat their bad ideas as though they were legitimate.
You see, he literally just covered what we just said, but he is saying more so that all Republican ideas are bad and are refuted, like they're bad. He's not including the fact that there are Republican ideas that are better than Democratic ideas, like we said.
And you know what? Another point he made here. He said we should completely refute bad ideas and never bring them back into proportion again. Well, what if somebody takes that bad idea and tweaks it into being something better?
Yeah, Like, what if
I mean,
this?
a bad idea can start off as something bad, and then once you take it into proportion and tweak it to a point where you can make it good, then it can be brought back up to an argument. But if you just completely toss that argument, because at some point somebody had to have had that opinion for a reason, 100%. So if you completely throw everything that person had in that ideology, and that you just completely throw it out the window and you never bring it back ever again, well then where are you going to get?
Yeah.
Where are you going to get? You're not going to get very far. You need to hear a difference of opinion, and you need to hear the person out. If let's say one day you debate somebody and they're wrong, the next day they can come back with the same ideology but tweaked, and then prove you wrong. And
Exactly.
that's the healthy, healthy needed debate into political in political discourse. And it's just when you just throw ideologies out and you just stick to one, do this, do that, and you just follow head on and don't listen to anybody else, well, yeah, that's what you get when socialism,
Yeah.
communism.
Exactly.
Look at that.
There's a name for this, the balance fallacy. It's what happens when people see their ideas treated as though they have merit or might have merit when we already know that they don't have merit. The balance fallacy is the only hope the likes of Spencer and Yiannopoulos have for continuing to earn a living disseminating their long ago discredited ideas.
You see, now this balance fallacy or whatever he's saying is like completely made up. Like, it's a completely stupid idea to say that, oh, Spencer and Milo's ideas have been refuted, but because we're paying attention to them, that gives them credit. That gives them, a platform to speak on, so on and so forth. That gives them the ability to speak. I think that it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Like, Milo and Spencer get this audience, these people, because these people genuinely believe in these ideals. They believe that these people are speaking what needs to be spoken and what is the truth.
And you know what? As a matter of fact, you believe me, you'll find this in a lot of liberals. He literally just completely spout bullshit. He completely spouted lies, and let me tell you why right now. He says that they're pushing on this agenda that nobody listens to, that's long been out of proportion. But he's literally, I mean, Milo for the most part speaks like 80% of what he says, our president right now, who we have in office, would agree to, is what he says. Okay, so if the American people vote for a president who speaks these ideals, then how the hell is it out of proportion? How the hell is nobody following it? I mean, come on,
Yeah,
seriously, give me a break. This
it's
guy is
it's
ridiculous.
just sad.
It just makes no sense. I mean, it's God.
That's why they lean so hard on their warped, self-serving caricature of free speech, which in their interpretation includes not only the right to speak, but also the right to a microphone and an audience. But that's not how it works. Refuting bad ideas with good ideas is necessary, but that's just step one. Step two is leaving behind the bad ideas and the people who continue to cling to them and demand our attention. Do they have the right to continue to speak in support of their bad ideas? Sure they do. Do they have the right to a platform to better enable them to disseminate those ideas? Absolutely not.
Now, like we've said earlier, he's repeating his words so that you can get a firmer sense on it, and it only makes it easier for us to say that after you've looked at the rest of this video and seen what he said and seen what we've said, like, it's obvious that, like, him trying to take away the microphone from Milo and Spencer and trying to take away their platform to speak and trying to take away their audience, he's clearly just saying that free speech is for people he agrees with and people that, agree with his ideals. Like, they're the only ones who are allowed to speak.
So you know what? Through these 4 minutes that we're watching this, we're 3.5 minutes in, we're almost done. I would have thought he would he would have at least came to this video with at least a different point. But okay, so this is about the third time he said this. We should refute what do you call it? Bad ideas with good ones. And you know what? With that, that's the one thing I can agree with him on this video.
Yep.
Refute bad ideas with good ones. Follow the good ones. If the bad ideas can be tweaked or changed in some way and brought back into proportion, let's see how it goes. But The problem is, with the way he is implying this, is that he wants to refute all Republican ideas and put them into Democratic ideals,
Yeah.
which is completely obvious because he's targeting two Republicans, one nationalist. And it's just it's a horrible thing to see. I agree with him. Refute bad ideas, put in good ones. He didn't answer. He didn't put the fact in that you should tweak them and tweak a bad idea, maybe put it back in the proportion like I did, which I agree. But with other than that, this guy, he really just doesn't know what he's saying.
Yeah.
To be completely honest with you, he doesn't know what he's saying. He's throwing out these big words, trying to make himself sound sophisticated, and it's honestly making him look like a real fool right now. But I mean, it's just bias, really. It's just not wanting to hear a difference of opinion. That's all it is.
Exactly.
So it's terrible. I mean, for example, if you look at this guy, he's saying you shouldn't allow these people a microphone in an audience. Well, what does he have? A microphone in an audience. So if I don't agree with what he's saying and I think his idea is out of proportion, then delete his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Okay, so does that sound fair? Come on now.
To be honest, that's probably what he's gonna try and do to us for making this video. He'll probably be like, "Oh, these guys are Republicans." He probably won't even watch like a quarter of the video, and he'll just be like, "Oh, they're talking shit about me. They don't deserve a platform. They don't deserve an audience.
Yeah,
Take
much.
him down. Take him down."
Oh, they got 7 subscribers. We gotta wipe them off the face of the
It'll be so easy. Take them out.
Gotta go.
Stop them before they get bigger.
Yeah, it's just play the video so we get this over with.
Let them speak, but let it be from atop an apple crate on a street corner, not on a stage at a university or in front of a radio microphone or a television camera. We've heard what they have to say. Now it's time to stop indulging them so the rest of us can move forward.
I'm sorry, this guy is just so funny to me.
I don't want to look at his advertisements anymore.
Oh my god, there's just so much to say about this guy. And you know what, I really do want to watch another video and cover him at one point, but for now, this is enough for today.
Yeah, we've been on this tangent for like 22 minutes.
Oh my god, this is terrible. So basically, to sum it up for you guys, he's a pretty obvious advocate of freedom of speech. However, only to certain people, which is completely contradictory to the First Amendment, which states that all people have the freedom of speech, no matter what race, color, gender, anything. 2 genders.
Yeah. He wants to. Oh no.
But but yeah, you know what? And that's what it comes down to. He's an advocate of free speech, but he has it in a radical form where he only finds it in a certain group of people, and then he just shuns everybody else out of the way that doesn't follow him. He obviously is very left-wing, liberal, lovely, the 3 L's. And you know what? So he's obviously that. He loves to bash ideas of the other side. He doesn't like to engage in political discourse because he knows he will get destroyed, and he just can't hear a difference of opinion. And the fine line between this is just it's been going around. It's been like this for a while, and it's just getting worse.
It's just sad because like he's made up that word, the balance fallacy or whatever he said. It's like he's making up his own freedom of speech, which is like a limited form of freedom of speech. Like only he and people he agrees with and people with left-wing ideas are allowed this platform to speak on and allowed an audience to speak. It's just sad to see anyone like that far gone on one side. Like I mean I'm not denying that he deserves this platform to speak. Like he has a right to his ideas as much as we do. Like
of course.
It's just it's unfortunate to see him trying to take away ours when we're not trying to take away his. Like
oh man, this guy is something else.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely have to cover him in our video, but we're on like 25 minutes now, so it's probably about time we wrap this up.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
All right, so thank you guys for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to thumb it up. Please don't send this to Steve Shives so he can take us down. But all right, we'll see you guys next time.
All right, see ya.